I'm your host, Peter Maragall. For those of you online, welcome to you too. As always, we are reading to you from the unceded ancestral homeland of the Ramaytush people. It is always an honor and a privilege to be able to do so on each day. So we're delighted to have Roddy Bottum with us here. Celebrating the Royal We.
Right.
Published by the fabulous Akashic Books, one of the great indie presses of this country, of all time, I should say. I want to send a big shout out to Johnny Temple and Joanna Ingalls and the loving work they do around the clock. I tell you, we've done some great events with them, really wonderful memories. So thank you so much for helping make this happen tonight. So truly fantastic, truly thrilling to have Roddy Bottum with us here tonight. He's, of course, as many of you know, a composer, musician, writer, creator, and actor. He's also scored music for film and TV. He is, of course, well known for being the founding member of the best-selling and groundbreaking bands Faith No More and Imperial Teen. Although The Royal We is a stellar personal biography, it also beautifully captures a time in San Francisco history that was, I mean, as wondrous as it was ripe with creativity and freedom of movement. And it's a significant portrait of an era. Mr. Bottum's journey through self-discovery sent waves through the music industry and beyond as he came out and expanded the spectrum of what being gay could mean in the world of rock music. He creates a nuanced and passionate portrait of an artist's life that spans both the heights of creative recognition to the tragedies along the way. The Royal We presents an amazing cast of characters. It is a page-turner, and we think you will enjoy it. So joining Mr. Bottum in conversation is none other than our dearly beloved Brontez Purnell. The last time, the last time that Brontez was in this room, my ears were ringing for a week because he had his band played. It was the first time we'd ever have a band, like, I mean, drum kit, bass, drums, you know. Was it Marshall Stacks? No, it was like a Fender or something. Anyways, it was loud enough that it kind of hurt. But it hurt in a good way. Anyways, really a pleasure to have him as interlocutor. He's, of course, a writer, musician, dancer, director based out of Oakland. He is the author of several award-winning books, including Since I Laid My Burden Down and 100 Boyfriends, which won the Lambda Literary Award for Gay Fiction. He also created the punk zine Fag School. His band, The Younger Lovers, that's who played in this very room. You still performing? You still performing?
Ezra's like, he's in a union now. He's like on a boat to China.
Whoa.
Okay. So he's also the founder of the Brontez Purnell Dance Company. We're going to have a Q&A. I ask you kindly, let me come to you with the microphone. Otherwise, so you just raise your hand, I will come to you. Otherwise, our friends online are not going to be able to hear your question. And then we're also going to have a signing. And the way the signing is going to be conducted, we're going to ask you to go to that side of the room so we can clear out the chairs. Books are at the counter. And then we're going to try to make the line go kind of down the stairs into the basement, into the cellar. So, please join us now in giving a warm welcome.
Hi, I love you.
Love you.
Y'all should know that our birthdays are a day apart.
Aww. Cancers.
July 1st and July 2nd, so it's about to be some tender shit.
Cancers.
I guess I would start by asking, this is what I was wondering the whole time, why a memoir now? Not to bring myself into it, but I think I made the mistake of writing memoirs way too young, because I think I had Michelle T. and Alvin Orloff tell me, you're not going to remember a goddamn thing, so you better write it now. But I do think a span of time really kind of, I don't know, can either distort or hone feelings. Why did you feel like it was necessary now, and do you feel like it was truer now that you waited, or did it feel truer?
Yeah, good question. I kind of wrote this book specifically to antagonize people. I started to write it in the beginning part of like when COVID was happening and we had the first Trump presidency happening. And it was just, I mean, like all of us, I was just like sitting in all the lies that were going on, you know, coming from the right, and it was just getting louder and louder and louder. And it was a really frustrating place to be, particularly in the COVID and like behind closed doors and hearing this shit getting louder and louder and louder. And it just felt like my sort of combat in that sort of scenario was, the only way that I could combat that was to hit back kind of with my truths. Like the lies that we're hearing and continue to hear are so intense and so fucked up. And I kind of like, my truths that I'm kind of delivering in this book are in a similar way, prickly and provocative and really antagonistic and aggressive. And it felt like almost like a reactionary sort of war zone to write a book and just throw the shit that I threw into the book. I don't mean shit, but you know what I mean. Like just really the intensity felt appropriate in this particular political climate.
Can I ask a really annoying question?
Please.
Because it's like, it's also, I mean, there's so much like heavy shit, but like the prose is so like, it's really tender, it's like really beautiful. How do you think being a Cancer affects your writing?
Right, I think, as you know, we're both so sensitive. And we're very gentle people, and we're also offended really easily. But it was definitely an intention of mine. Like, I really am not a memoir person. I don't really like those stories that go from like the beginning of a person's life to the end of a person's life. Is nothing I want to read. Nothing to me is more predictable than that. So I knew going into sort of writing this, I wanted to take a perspective that was gentle and prosy and poetic. And that was sort of my first go-to. And I guess that's very Cancer, right?
Yes. And like when I was reading it, it totally like, I wasn't kind of expecting what you were saying, you know? Because I'll admit, okay, I like used to stay up, I'm from Alabama, but I used to stay up till midnight to watch Imperial Teen on 120 minutes. Because it was the only song that was so, kiss me like the man, boy. And I'm like, what the fuck you just said? Like, and so I was expecting there to be so much more Imperial Teen in the book, but it just felt like this kind of one long day in San Francisco. Kind of like, I don't know, like this like Cookie Mueller feel or something. Like, but I love the temporal effect of it and just kind of the beauty of it. Were there any kind of books that you felt like inspired by, or any type of tones or writers that kind of reflect this style? Because I don't know, it's deeply stylized, right, and feels deeply intentional. Right. So I wanted to.
It's funny, like I really, there were a lot of things I knew I didn't want to emulate at all, you know, but for sure, like Just Kids, in terms of like a personal story, Just Kids is something that I was like, yeah, that's something that really spoke to me, the Patti Smith, you know. And your books, Brontes, really like in a raw sort of way. I knew I wanted to go in a direction that was kind of bold and upfront and aggressive and prickly. And like San Francisco Literature, like Michelle T, also like, you know, really dirty, raw sort of life stories, I think were a big inspiration.
Wow. So I think let's do one more, and then I think maybe you should get into it. Okay, so I call my books fiction to protect the wicked, namely myself. How did you decide? But you name names, you go in. Yeah. And when writing this, how did you decide, well, this I want to protect, or this needs to be at the forefront? Was there any type of, or did you just kind of say, I'm just going to let it all hang out, or were you more protective of certain people or things or situations, or how did you negotiate that kind of weird balance with memoir? Because some people say all memoir is fiction.
Yeah.
I think when I started writing, I just kind of like, I could only do just like full on, it was just myself behind closed doors, and I wasn't really thinking of a book at the time. So I was just really, it felt like diary form really. And in that way, behind closed doors, by yourself, I could only be as honest as I had nothing to lose in my honesty. So I just was like, put everything that I knew onto the page. There did come up stuff later on that were like, kind of like more stuff about myself, I think, that I shared that was kind of like complicated to share and talk about, but other things. Yeah, I mean, stuff like, yeah, like, I mean, just like it's a lot of stuff. I don't know if anyone's read the book, but there's a lot of, I put a lot of my childhood stuff in there. When I was a kid, I was like a filthy little kid. And I would go, you know, have sex with men in bushes and just like a lot of gay men do, but it's a lot to put out there, and that's a lot to share. That was something, but that was just my own stuff. And certain things, like, I don't know, I think I asked a couple people about a couple instances, but generally I just kind of, yeah, just let it all lay out. Should I read a little bit? I think so. All right. Thanks you guys so much for coming today.
Yeah.
I'm going to, like, all the events that I've done have been so crazy charged. Like, 2 days ago was Los Angeles, and you know, all my family lives there, and that's where I grew up, and it was just insane, like all the people that were there. And then, you know, last week was New York City, and in a similar way, like I lived there, so all my people were there. But San Francisco, this is super special. Thanks. The book started as something like, you know, more about my life, and it ended up being like more about San Francisco. And so it's really special that I could come here and do this. So here we go. I'm going to read some stuff about San Francisco. For some reason I had a really hard time coming to terms with what I was going to read here, but I think I'm just going to go with this. Chapter 3. There was the same number of us in San Francisco, 5 or 6. We worked as a crew like grubby fingers interlocked. We were fueled by a rush of desire to keep up, to make a mark, to claim a place for ourselves in the changing landscape. The places we went in our heads and the things that we did were encouraged by the friends we met and the past that the village had been. More plastic bags was a warehouse space, tucked enough away to not attract attention. There were kids like us and hippies much older. It was a massive building of brick, floor after floor of flashing lights and sound removed from the street through a huge crumbled archway. We'd wait in a line for our turn to get in and see people we knew and meet pockets and clutches of weirdos we hadn't. Filmmakers, fashion people, queers, strippers, painted faces, bearded men in habits, couples wrapped in chains, masks, exotic gowns, wigs. The mix of San Francisco was a circus, vibrant, deafening, and spiritual unto itself. Drugs were everywhere, pot smoke, meth on mirrors, tabs of acid on tongues of fucked up dancers swaying into each other, obliterated, twirling and moving in throngs on the different dance floors, overstuffed couches on the edges of it all with crashed out young people in crumples of costumes. We'd run up and down from floor to floor, dancing and drinking and screaming over the noise of the party. There was a huge bowl filled with goldfish on a window ledge in the staircase. More like a party decoration, not an aquarium. It was situated in an alcove, positioned in the shine of a colored light. We crowded around the bowl, and one of us said, "Everyone eat a fish." And we did. We ate the goldfish. We put our hands in the bowl one by one and scooped out goldfish and ate them, live little fish on our tongues and swallowing them. No one judged. Hippies looked on surprised and complacently amused at what the kids would do. Us eating the goldfish was just one of so many scenarios going on in this space. We rummaged through the coat room and put on other people's clothes and tromped up and down the different floors